Hello friends, so today's video is going to be a list of some fantasy books that I think deserve to have special editions. I do want to clarify that all of these books are fantastic on their own. Of course, the story is not impacted by what the outside cover looks like. It's just we see so often now some authors or some series will get so many different editions or will get so many reprints and you'll get new covers, and there's all these different covers depending on where you buy it from, if you get it from a book box. And then there's some that I think have been really impactful to the fantasy genre, or there's some that are maybe very underhyped, very underrated, but are amazing. And I think they deserve to have the other aspects of artistry that goes into books, being the cover design, the sprayed edges, doing all these stencilings, things like that. I think these deserve to get that kind of artful love as well. I've had this video idea in mind for quite a while. There was a certain company that people were expressing what book they thought they should do a special edition for. It's one of those companies that goes ahead and makes these really amazing editions. And I thought about it then, I'm like, what would I want a special edition of? And then not too long ago, I posted a picture of a book from a series that I really like, and I thought about it, I'm like, how has this one not gotten a special edition over the years? I don't think there's any special editions. And then the thing that sealed the deal where I thought, all right, I have to do this video, is recently the Broken Binding has announced that they are going to be doing a special edition of Ninth Reign, the Winnowing Flame trilogy, the whole trilogy by Jen Williams. And have you heard me talk about this series before? Maybe, maybe not. I'm just kidding. Obviously you have, because I talk about it all the time. And I am beyond excited. I am 100% going to be getting this edition. I 100% will be doing an unboxing for you. And also, shout out to the Broken Binding. The company is fantastic. They're building up a lot. And I am so excited for when they finally do the mock-ups for these. I was so excited just in general when I found out. Thank you to my friend Patrick, who kind of is the one that introduced me to the people who run the Broken Binding, because I found out about this and I was like, oh my gosh, melting. This trilogy not only deserves a special edition, but because of the way contract issues and things like that, you can't actually listen to the audiobook if you're outside the UK. So I would mention accessibility being difficult for this series, even though I love it. And I would say, like, there's no audiobook, and people are like, yeah, there is. And it's because it's available to some people and not others. It's also not the easiest book to get your hands on. It would go out of print quite a lot. So in general, it's just been a series that I've wanted more people to be able to get their hands on, and then now the Broken Binding is going to be doing a special edition for it, and I'm so excited. I wish I had that good news for all the ones I'm going to mention, but hey, maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll see later in the year that the other books I'm going to mention in this video will get special editions. We'll see. But yes, this one deserves all the love, all the special editions. I cannot wait. I cannot express how excited I am. The next one I'm going to mention, it has a lot of different editions. It has a lot of different covers that end up kind of matching various works by this author, but I haven't really seen a collection of all of their works or something. I'll just say, Octavia Butler. I recently read Parable of the Sower. I happen to have this amazing edition of the book, but there's not necessarily a whole lot beyond just it's a new cover design. There's not really anything beyond that that makes this exceptional in the artistry factor. So Octavia Butler is somebody who has had a huge influence on science fiction and fantasy. They were a great mind, and I just feel like it would be fantastic to recognize them and recognize their impact on the genre by having a collection of sorts. So I could see, because they've written so many different works, you know, you get those, sometimes it's just a matter of everything coming out in hardcover and everything getting a sleeve so all the spines go together. I think that could work amazingly for Octavia Butler. So that's what I would like to see. I also just want to say, if you have ideas for what you think would be an amazing way to honor these authors or honor their works for whichever of the ones I'm going to mention, because that's what I can see for this one, is having where all the spines go together. There are certain companies that do that, and they do a great job of it, and I could just see that being great for this one. The next one I'm going to mention, this is one where I posted on Instagram, and when I went to post, I realized there's no special edition for this series, and that would be the Seven Realms series by Cindy Williams Chima. So I actually joked with my husband, because I used to have these in paperback, and I enjoy the series. I think back on it fondly, and I do want to reread it. It's a quartet, and I joked with my husband, I kind of want to upgrade to a hardback, but I feel like as soon as I get the hardbacks, there's going to be an announcement from some book box that they're making a special edition of this, some kind of anniversary edition or something. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind. I found them at my local used bookstore in hardback right after I joked with my husband about it, and then now I'm just waiting for the rest of my hope to come true, which is that there is a special edition. But either way, I really liked this quartet, and I think that this was a particular series when YA was finding its footing, in a sense, and it's something that I think a lot of people read as they were getting into fantasy. It's kind of a nostalgia factor for a lot of people. It actually wasn't for me. I read it later, but I know it holds a lot of meaning to a lot of people, and I know this author holds a lot of meaning to a lot of people, or their works, I should say. So I just think it would be fantastic if this one got a special edition. I kind of want a Lumacrate or Fairy Loot to do a special edition of this series. Maybe we could get just hardbacks with no sleeves. That would be great. The series is great. And there is imagery within, like there's amulets and things like that I think you could do something with for as far as what would be put on the edges or what would be put on the covers, the spines. So there's a lot they could do with this series. I just think it's great, and I think it deserves to get all the love, just like all the rest of them I'm talking about. This is going to be a broken record kind of video. The next book and the origin of this video concept goes to Sword of Kygen. So this is a fantasy standalone, and it technically is tied to some other works. It's within the same world that the author created. However, it is standing on its own, and oh my gosh, just a hardcover would be great for those people that like hardcovers, but there's a lot to do with magic in the story and water magic, so you could have the most beautiful edition that does something spectacular with the edges, sprayed edges, or you could have something where if you open it, there's beautiful artwork. I mean, already, I think the colors and the design of the cover can give you an idea maybe of what I'm thinking, but a talented artist can do all sorts of amazing things depicting the magic. And also, if you don't know what this story is about, it follows this society where it's kind of a warrior group of people who believe that it is their job to protect the rest of their country if there is any kind of an invasion. And so they very much honor a certain code, but there's also some propaganda that has been fed to them in order to create such a loyal group of people. However, the importance to them of honor, of fighting, of protecting alongside this magic, I just think a really talented artist could do so much with that. It would be so amazing. And also, I know a lot of you love this book too. And it's just one book, you know? You don't have a whole... I get that it's a lot to commit to a whole series or to a whole collection of works, but that's just one, you know? I feel like it's doable. The next one I'm going to mention, technically, I did find a special edition, and that would be through Subterranean Press, and it's, I'm sure, amazing. I don't have the physical copy of it, but I haven't actually finished the series. I just read the first one. My husband is on the third one, and that would be the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. I know a lot of you, if it was announced, you wouldn't even need to see the covers. You would just hear there's a special edition, and you would go get it. I know it. I can't believe, unless there's something in the contract, I can't believe that there aren't more editions of the 5th season. Or just N.K. Jemisin is another author similar to Octavia Butler where they have a lot of other works. So I could see somebody doing something with a bunch of their books. And I'm not sure all of their books even have hardcover editions, and some kind of uniformity, because I know as bookworms, kind of what I was saying about if you had all the works for Octavia Butler and then you had, so there's an image within the spines, a uniform look across the shelves for N.K. Jemisin, or just a special edition of this trilogy, either, unless I just couldn't find it and there's actually something readily available. I don't think there is really that option for this. The Subterranean Press one, when I checked, is sold out. Understandably, their editions are amazing. But yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised given how highly this is regarded. It's a Hugo winner. How much people love this series. I feel like it needs to happen. The next two are definitely just me having wishful thinking because these series aren't even completed. The third one for one of these comes out this year, and the third one for the other I hope is coming out this year. I know there was a delay, but I love the first two books. I'm sure I'm gonna love the third one of both of these trilogies, and that would be the Boneshard Daughter and Fireborn. So I'm gonna start with the Boneshard Daughter. Setting is kind of these sinking islands. So similar to what I was saying with Sword of Kygen, I think you could do something with that imagery. And then as far as the covers themselves, I mean, I wouldn't mind if you kept these covers, but also, I also would love the hardbacks with no sleeves. That would look great too. And the colors that they've chosen, so the other one is up here. This kind of teal, it's funny, I sort of match it. This teal color is great, this red color, what an interesting combination. On the paperback, the actual front cover is primarily red. On that one, the front cover is primarily the teal. I don't know what the color is gonna be for the third one, but I just think the colors themselves are already interesting, the imagery is already interesting, and there's imagery within the story that you can depict on spines, on the inside cover, on the actual covers, on sprayed edges of some sort. There's just so much you could do with it, and it would be great. No one is surprised that I would love a special edition for the Fireborn series by Rosario Munda. I absolutely love this first one. I loved the second one. I love both of them so much. One of my favorite stories of all time. It's inspired by the Russian Revolution. It is a fantastical setting, but it very much feels like you're reading historical fiction, except for there's dragons. And how would that affect the economy? How would that affect the form of government? You've heard me talk about it, I'm sure, so many times. But either way, one, the aspect of there being dragons within the story, an amazing artist could do amazing things with that. There was a reprint, which is completely outside the author's control. I know a lot of us don't like when there's reprints of the covers mid-series before the series is even out. There's actually a cover change before the second book even came out. So you have this first book that only was released with this cover in paperback. The second one, it matches the imagery, but it came out in hardback first. Then there's the paperback. And the same thing will happen for the third, and you're probably not going to see a hardback of this first one unless the original cover in hardback sells out. And then maybe then we'll see this in hardcover, maybe not. And going back to my point of uniformity, a lot of us love when there's consistency across our series, not just with the imagery, but with the actual kind of book it is. A lot of us, if we have a hardback, we usually want it to continue in hardback. If we have paperbacks, we want it to continue, and we don't even have that option currently. I hope there's some kind of pre-order campaign where you can have the sleeve go on if you happen to have the hardback of the original cover. Regardless, I want there to be the same across the board for the kind of format, but then also I would love for there to be a special edition. I mentioned Fairy Loot, I mentioned Illumicrate. If LitJoy Crate wants to do it, if anybody wants to do it, I will buy it. The last one I'm going to mention would be the Shadow of the Fox trilogy by Julie Kagawa. So this trilogy, these covers are absolutely beautiful already. All I really want is for these to come in hardback and then for some prettiness to happen on the pages. I remember back in the day, I said I didn't like sprayed edges, and here I am being like, can all of these have sprayed edges now, please? So I would love a special edition of this series. I don't even need a whole lot to change. I basically just want some hardbacks with some prettiness added to it. And you know what? That's not true. I want on the inside cover for there to be artwork. I want the inside of the back to have artwork, maybe some illustrations on the inside. That would be fun. There is a lot to do with Japanese mythology within, and I think that you could do a lot of really amazing illustrations for that. Definitely let me know of some books that you think deserve special editions. How would you want those special editions to look? Where would you want those special editions to come from? But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye.